president of rewriting the Bible. I don't think even he would be capable of such an act. But this Bible, in any case, which is the regular Bible, has some elements that inspire religion, and it is recommended that everyone read the Bible. Most people have got it. I want many people to have the Bible, said the former president. In a reference to the campaign slogan itself, there's a need to recover Christian traditions, spread our Christian values with others, unearth the highs and lows of his career, the defining moments that shaped his character and leadership style. Is he really the strategist master that he claims to be? And how have these experiences influenced his actions as the leader of one of the world's largest powers? Let's go on this journey together. Before we proceed, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video to stay up to date. Your likes and subscriptions help in the growth of this project. With the project growing, I can bring you more interesting videos, agreed? Thanks for the support. Continuing onwards, it's hard not to form an opinion about the infamous and contentious 45th President of the United States, known for his love of Twitter and the GDX. Many fail to comprehend the complexity of Donald Trump. We'll undertake a better understanding by revisiting his biographies and analyzing his life prior to his shift to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. On June 14, 1946, Fred Trump and Mary McLeod welcomed into the world Donald Joe, their fourth child. Donald's grandfather, Frederick, hailed from Germany in 1885 and was reputed to be an excellent builder, leaving his mark on Queens through his real estate projects, which were predominantly simple but sturdy rental apartments. Fred, following in his father's footsteps, transitioned into a successful real estate developer, and by the time Donald was still a teenager, he already owned over 27,000 apartments in a single year. Brooklyn areas like Flatbush, Shakespearehead Bay, Bensworthhurst, and Bridgeton Beach. They also had significant holdings in Coney Island and Jamaica State in Queens. During the Great Depression, Fred expanded his business into the commercial sector, founding Trump Market, a supermarket based on the self-service concept for the budget-conscious. Donald's mother, Mary Trump, who was from Scotland, met Fred in the early 30s. They married in 1936 when she was just 24 years old and settled in a 23-room mansion in Queens, boasting a colonial-style driveway and white marble columns. Fred's two Cadillacs, Fat 1 and Fat 2, were parked in the garage. The Trumps were among the few families who had an intercom system at home, in addition to a driver and a personal orderly. Mary was known for her philanthropy and for various causes that were dear to her. From an early age, Donald showed a great interest in the family business, leading Fred to occasionally take him to construction sites. Donald had a reputation for being defiant, and his parents often struggled to discipline him. Once, a neighbor came home to find 4-year-old Donald throwing rocks at her son. By the age of 8, Donald was already leading a group of troubled kids who roamed around Queens on their bikes, taunting any passers-by. Known for being outspoken and acting impulsively, Fred decided to enroll Donald in a Fort Hills private school called Queen Forest School, where he held a board of trustee membership. This seemed to only fuel Donald's rebellious behavior as he became the leader of a group of unruly boys, stirring up trouble and even pulling girls' hairs. Despite his grades being just average, which showed more of a lack of effort than lack of ability, Donald demonstrated outstanding talent in sports, particularly in games like dodgeball and baseball, where his batting skills were incredibly powerful, to the point where defenders had to position themselves even further away when he was about to bat. At the age of 12, Donald and his friend Peter Brandis decided to venture into Manhattan by train, a trip that Donald's parents didn't authorize. Arriving at 53rd Street, they spent the day exploring Central Park, poking around novelty stores and observing the lives of the homeless. One of the items Donald acquired was a pocket knife, And months later, when Fred found out about the knife and the secret trip to the city, he was shocked. He realized that Doral desperately needed more discipline and decided to enroll him in Rossium Military Boarding School, which was about 70 miles away. There, Dorald's previously comfortable life of a mansion and wanderings around the region ended. Fred acted swiftly, not giving his son a chance to say goodbye. The military academy was a world unto itself, where students wore heavy uniforms and the day began early to the audio of an alarm. Everything was governed by a strict timetable, and Theodore Tobias, the school's administrator and a respected World War II veteran, enforced discipline. He understood that a lot of youngsters there needed guidance and discipline, and he took this responsibility very seriously. This transformation was a massive shock to Donald. At first, he resisted with hostility and defiance against the rules, accumulating penalties for being sloppy and disorganized. But Tobias saw more in Donald. He saw his fierce determination and persistent aspiration to excel. Knowing that resistance would only create problems, Donald began to adapt and started following the rules. His almost obsessive focus on order and cleanliness earned him the nickname Lord for his meticulous nature. Over time, Donald became more serene and confident, building friendships, even though at times he was seen as pompous, boasting about his father's accomplishments. In his senior year, he was appointed company commander, responsible for inspecting and maintaining order among the younger students. His authority was such that he rarely needed to raise his voice. A glance or a raised eyebrow was enough to show his displeasure. Donald showed himself to be a born delegator, even going so far as to pass on his supervisory responsibilities to others while relaxing in his room. His attitude came to the attention of Tobias, who, unsatisfied, demoted him from his position, giving him an administrative post. Donald took it as a promotion for his previous good work. After graduating at 18, Donald joined the University of the Bronx to study real estate, deciding to follow in his father's footsteps, but with the ambition to do something even bigger. He knew he needed a degree in the field to reach his goals, so after 2 years he transferred to Wharton University's business school, where he felt out of place. Despite coming from a wealthy family, he didn't have the elite academic background his colleagues did, but with a straightforward and assertive attitude, he quickly stood out. On the first day of class, when asked about his goals, Donald confidently stated that he would become the king of New York real estate. He graduated from Wharton in 1968 and came back to New York ready to make his mark in the real estate sector. At that time, he was at the age limit for military draft, was exempt from serving in Vietnam due to a foot-related medical diagnosis, which allowed him to focus on his real estate objectives in Queens. Donald began working for his father in early 1969 and from the start felt tremendous pressure to prove to his father that he was capable and competent. His way of conducting business was questioned in 1973 when some tenants involved a class action lawsuit against the family business, accusing it of racial discrimination, a violation of whistleblowing laws. The case did not have a clear verdict, but the Trump organization agreed to the settlement without admitting guilt. Around the same time, Donald was promoted to president of the company and decided to rename it the Trump Organization. One of his first actions was to hire lawyer Roy Cohn, known for his aggressive stance. In 1975, Donald met Ivana Zelníková, a talented skier from Czechoslovakia. They married after 2 years of dating, and Ivana took over managing several of the company's initiatives. She also had 3 children with Donald, Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric. Most of Donald's father's business was focused on middle-income residential real estate in Brooklyn, Queens, and Staten Island. However, Donald himself wanted to break into Manhattan's commercial real estate market. His first major project was the renovation of the Fulmore Hotel, a dilapidated building that he transformed into the Grand Hyatt in partnership with the Pritzker family. Despite the challenges, including the need for substantial funding and negotiations for a 40-year tax exemption, the project was a success. After the Hyatt, Donald planned to develop a 58-story building on Fifth Avenue next to Tiffany and Company. This $200 million development would become Trump Tower, a sea tree, and a 25-meter waterfall. The penthouse would be Donald's residence, with his offices just below. While working at Trump Tower, Donald became aware of an issue with the renovation of the Walmart ice rink. The project was overdue and over budget. He offered to finish the project, suggesting he could do it more efficiently and economically. After being provoked by the mayor, Donald managed to get a concrete company to undertake the project for free, considering that the publicity would offset the costs. The project was finished on time and saved $34 million, demonstrating Donald's competence to manage substantial ventures effectively. The revitalization of Gino's skating rink in New York was not just a success, but also brought huge visibility to Donald Trump, who led the project. The contractors who worked hard on the project, however, didn't get as much attention as Trump. In the early 1980s, he decided to venture into the gaming industry, obtaining necessary licenses and buying land in Atlantic City. In partnership with the Holiday Inn Corporation, the parent company of Harrah's Casinos, they launched Harrah's in Trump Plaza in 1984. The casino was a hit and encouraged Trump to further invest in this market, acquiring properties that were struggling with their gaming licenses, such as Atlantic City Hilton Hotel's casino, which after renovations was reopened as Trump Castle. With constantly growing ambitions, Trump aimed to build the world's largest casino at the time, the Trump Taj Mahal. Inaugurated in 1990, the project required a significant amount of debt with the expectation of unprecedented daily revenue to cover costs. This goal was never achieved, forcing Trump to undergo a debt restructuring process to keep the casino open, resulting in a stake of only 10% in the business. Simultaneously, he founded Trump Hotels and Casino Resort, which became a publicly traded company despite challenges in the gaming industry. The role of a content creator is to produce content for people, record, edit, post, and monetize. Heard of hardship, right? But everything gets done and it's worth it when that incredible content brings in money. And for my role as a content creator to take place, the money needs to be in the account quickly. My little tip for the fuss of receiving and withdrawing from AdSense is Creators by Husk. Oh, and you can also receive from Twitch, alright? And let's ban the surprise fee. It's simple, easy, quick and safe, and at the best rate. Less time worrying about whether the money landed in the account, more time to create my content my way. Creators by Husk. Created, monetized, cashed out. Trump continued to invest in real estate throughout the 80s and 90s. In 1985, he acquired a large area in Manhattan with plans for a television complex. He bought the Plaza Hotel for $100 million in 1988 and made his first investment in Florida in 1989. He also owned multiple golf resorts around the country. In 1992, Trump's personal life made headlines for controversial reasons when his affair with 23-year-old actress Marla Maples came to light. Despite denials, the situation escalated when Marla confronted Ivana Trump during a ski vacation, declaring her love for Donald and suggesting that Ivana leave him. That episode was a turning point for the Trumps. From 1996 to 2015, Trump was in charge of the Miss Universe, Miss United States, and Miss Team USA pageants. Due to disagreements with CBS, he moved the contest to NBC in 2002. In recognition of his work with Miss Universe, Trump received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2007. However, in 2015, after disagreements with NBC and Univision, he purchased NBC's share of the Miss Universe organization and then sold the company to the William Morris Agency. In 2004, Trump co-founded Trump University, which provided courses in real estate but faced legal problems over the use of the word university, changing its name to the Trump Entrepreneur Initiative in 2010. The business was the subject of a $40 million civil lawsuit by the state of New York in 2013 for misleading customers. Trump settled the lawsuits by paying $25 million after his presidential election. Trump also authored 19 books highlighting the art of business, written by Tony Schwartz but attributed to Trump, who'd extended his fame beyond New York. He made guest appearances in films and TV shows between 1985 and 2001 and had a long association with WWE, being inducted into their celebrity wing in 2013. Trump has appeared on The Howard Stern Show about 24 times since the 1990s and had a brief radio show. Between 2011 and 2015, he was a guest commentator on Fox and Friends. His party affiliation has changed several times over the years, having registered as a Republican, member of the Independence Party, Democrat, and again a Republican. In 1987, Trump ran ads advocating peace policies and deficit reduction and speculated about running for president on several occasions. His presidential ambitions were seen as sexist. On June 16, 2015, he announced his run for presidency. Initially not taken seriously, he quickly gained prominence in the polls. After a decisive victory in Indiana on May 3, 2016, he was recognized as the presumptive candidate for the Republican Party. During the campaign, Trump chose Mike Pence, the Indiana governor, as his running mate. They were officially nominated at the Republican National Convention. Trump and Hillary Clinton took part in 3 presidential debates. Trump sparked controversy by refusing to express if he would accept the election outcome, raising concerns over the integrity of the democratic process. On September 24, 2019, Nancy Pelosi, the House Speaker, kicked off an impeachment inquiry against Trump. The trigger was a phone call on July 25th in which Trump, after Ukrainian President Zelensky mentioned acquiring missiles in the United States, requested investigations into Biden involving Giuliani and Attorney General William Barr. Several official testimonies confirmed that the request was part of a broader effort to benefit Trump in the following presidential election. William B. Taylor Jr., the U.S. representative from Ukraine, testified that Trump and Giuliani were pressuring Zelensky to announce investigations into the company that employed Hunter Biden and the alleged Ukrainian interference in the 2016 U.S. election. Taylor stated that U.S. military aid to Ukraine and an invitation to Zelensky to visit the White House were reliant on that announcement. On September 13, 2019, the House Judiciary Committee approved 2 articles of impeachment: abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. On December 18th, the House of Representatives formalized the indictment. The Senate trial began on January 16, 2020, where the Republican majority rejected requests to call witnesses and request documents. Despite the evidence presented, Trump was acquitted by the Senate. After the acquittal, Trump fired several impeachment witnesses and other officials he deemed disloyal. He also got his re-election campaign off to an early start, holding rallies and fundraising. The campaign emphasized the renegotiation of trade agreements, the strict enforcement of immigration laws, and the construction of a wall on the border with Mexico. Trump has also pledged energy independence, opposition to climate change regulations, and an overhaul of fiscal and education policies. During his presidency, Trump withdrew the United States from the Paris Agreement and rolled back several environmental regulations. His immigration policies and management of the COVID-19 pandemic were highly controversial. He cast doubt on the integrity of the 2020 election without proof and blocked extra funding for the Postal Service to reduce mail-in voting. After the election, Trump refused to accept the results, making baseless claims of electoral fraud. His 2 attempts to contest the results were dismissed by the courts. Following Biden's win, Trump limited his public appearances and initially hindered the presidential transition. Even after Biden's victory was formalized by the Electoral College, Trump kept trying to overturn the results, which ultimately led to the attack on the Capitol on January 6, 2021. This incident resulted in his second impeachment, accused of inciting insurrection, but he was once again acquitted by the Senate. After his term ended, Trump moved to Florida and continues to have an impact on American politics. In 2022, Trump launched his own social media platform called Trust Social, a response to his ban from major networks like Twitter and Facebook at the time after the events at the Capitol on January 6th. The platform presents itself as a dedicated space for freedom of expression, especially for conservative voices. The following year, in 2023, New York Attorney General Letitia James made an important announcement. The civil investigation conducted by her office into the Trump Organization's business practices revealed hints of possible criminal activities. With that, the investigation moved to a new level, advancing into the criminal sphere and putting Trump and his associates under a more intense legal magnifying glass. Amid this scenario, Trump has left open the possibility of a new presidential run in 2024. He continued to make his presence felt on the political scene through rallies and constant interactions with his followers, fueling speculation about a possible candidacy and maintaining his marked influence in the Republican Party. Even after leaving office, Trump hasn't distanced himself from the party spotlight, playing a significant role in deciding and defining its direction and choosing candidates. His figure, though controversial due to electoral defeats and impeachment proceedings, remains with a considerable impact on American politics. Leave your ideas and questions in the comments. I'd love to talk about the subjects of the video. If you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Indications of the next videos are appearing up here now. It makes perfect sense for you to watch them. I'll see you guys in the next video. See you later.